Welcome to the online teaching of the Great Council of the Grandmothers of the Net of Light. We do this the first Sunday of every month at this time, and everybody's welcome to join us. And if you have any questions or you want to contact us, please do. You can reach us through netoflight.org or through grandmotherspeak.com. We come together with people around the world, mostly women, a few men, to share what we're learning, what's moving us, what's learning us in this work that we do with the grandmothers and with the Net of Light. And so today we have women from the United States and Europe who will be sharing together. And we're going to be talking about the most recent thing we're finding on this evolutionary work with the grandmothers, which is in continuous progress. And it's pretty exciting right now, even though the world is in a big mess, which is true. We are being elevated and moved and expanded to a greater degree than ever before. We welcome everybody. This work is for everyone. We don't charge for it. We're happy to share it. This is the time for the return of the mother to earth. And we are here to be part of that return. Right now, we're going to ask Peggy, who's a regional coordinator and a group leader in the Southeast of the United States, to lead us in the Net of Light meditation, to bring us all together so that everything we do on this teaching benefits each of us to the maximum degree. So Peggy, go ahead.
Okay. Welcome everyone. We're so glad you're here. And if you would please, just begin to ground yourself very deeply and with great awareness. Keep your feet planted firmly on the floor. Feel that your chair, your sofa supporting you. Let yourself feel very grounded and in the body. And ground in the core of your body first, in your belly. So begin by allowing yourself to breathe very deeply into your belly, a big Buddha belly, and out slowly. And with that out breath, release everything that is not needed at this moment. And another breath like that, Buddha belly in, and an out breath releasing all that is not needed. And now allow your next in-breath to carry you into the deep sacred space of your heart. And imagine that we're all together in the very same room, breathing together and feeling the rhythm of our hearts as we remember together the net of light that connects us all. Think of it this moment. It's really all we need to do. It's always with us. But now think of it with deep awareness and become aware that it is actually holding you. And now we call on the grandmothers and all forms of the divine and ask them to surround and enfold us in warm and loving embrace. We call in all of the holy ones, all of the saints and sages, ascended masters, great teachers, all those who have taught us that we carry the divine within us. So we take our place on the net of light, a place perhaps on the net that feels like home, and anchor it in this sacred space of our heart, this jewel that we carry within us. We're here to amplify the net of light by pouring love into it. And when we think of it and pour our love into it, it immediately flows back into us. We can never outgive the net of light. Beautiful strands of love are flowing into the net back to us. It increases the vibration within our heart space. We welcome in the ancestors of light from our own personal lines and the ancestors of the land where we live, and realize that we're all one family in this beautiful place based in the heart. In this place, there is no difference between any place else. We're one family. And so we cast the net of light to one another. And we cast to the elements that we've been working with for the past few months and continue to understand and feel ever more deeply. They are not separate from us, but are an essential part of what makes us human beings. And so we thank the earth, the water, the fire within us, the air that we breathe, and the ether that holds us all and holds all of the elements. We cast to the mineral kingdom, to all the sacred sites on the earth that hold energy and help us to remember things that we might otherwise have forgotten, but it's there. It can be called on and drawn back home to us. We cast to every person on the earth, and we allow ourselves to see them with the light of love that we are. We cast to the animals in all their many, many forms, from those who give their lives so that we may eat, to those that bring us love and laughter as our pets. And we cast with great love and appreciation to the plant kingdom for feeding us, brightening our worlds, and to the tree beings that make oxygen for us all. We cast to the nature spirits, always forgetting them, I do, and putting them at the end. But we so owe them so much gratitude. And so now we remember them with great appreciation. And finally, we cast to the worlds beyond worlds, those beyond this cosmos and all across. And we offer a singing prayer. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. Oh, peace, peace, peace.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you. Everybody, allow yourself to receive this blessing, because when we ask, may everyone in all the worlds be happy, that includes the one who's praying as well. So it is, as I pointed out so many times, it's a selfless prayer, and it's a self-ish prayer. We receive and everyone receives. That's how it really happens. We're going to talk today about what we're really learning now. The Grandmother's fourth book is out, Return of the Mother, Return to Love. And it's a kind of a marker in the road for us, because it takes us deeper and further along with them in recognition of who it is we are. If you're like me and like most of us, you probably began your your spiritual journey, feeling that the divine, God, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, whoever you envisioned as the divine, was somewhere out there, up there, usually up there and out there. And you were down here and you just were wanting to get there, but you had a long way to go. And that's pretty much how most of the world's religions turn. It's a hierarchical model with the divine up here and the human being, the human soul down here. And so what happens with that are a number of things. One is you begin to feel that you could not possibly be worthy to reach this. And also, how could this up here be bothered with someone as insignificant as you? And then you lay on that all the other layers of things like sin and separation. And pretty soon it feels like an arduous process. And when I first began, and I'm probably not alone in this, when I first began this spiritual pursuit, which has been going on for my whole life, it was hard work. It was really hard work. I worked hard. I mean, I was disciplined. I, chanted certain chants. I sat in meditation. I read voraciously. I did all these practices, different kinds of breathing practices and karmic practices, all kinds of things. I was back and forth to India a lot. It was hard work, and it was. But now it really doesn't have to be. So many had laid the pathway down for us that at this time we can go farther than we could have ever dreamed of going before. And we can do it so much easier. When the grandmothers first came and they began to teach us about the net of light, we were scrambling, trying to figure out what is this construct? What is this net of light? And this has been it's been 25 years now since they first introduced us to it. And now so many of us have worked with it that it's very accessible. And so the meditation Peggy just led you in is yours for the asking. And if you want to learn more about how to work with the net of light, you can go to the website, netoflight.org, and you'll find all kinds of information. And it's not hard. It's very easy. We'll probably work with it again today before we end. Also, you can go onto the website. I think I just said that. Anyway, and there are meditations of it and songs about it. It's easy to access. And so what we're going to talk about today is what we're noticing as individuals. And we've got Catherine here from Northern California and Kate from Southern California and Jane from the East Coast of the US, Peggy from the South, Nadia from Belgium, and me from Northern California. And we're all experiencing this vast expansion and connection within ourselves. So much so that we can't any longer consider ourselves an organization. We aren't an organization. We do not have a hierarchy, rules to follow, procedures to do. We don't have anything like that. We are an organism, a living, breathing, and expanding organism, because we are one with this net of light, this cosmic web, this fabric of being that infuses and holds everything that lives. So what I'd like to do is just throw this open now to all of us who've gathered here on this Zoom call today to explore what you're learning, what you're finding about this. Some of you are reading this grandmother's fourth book. So if you found something in the book that you think is valuable, this is a good time to share it. And if you're discovering on your own pathway what it's like to be part of this organism, part of this living net of light, We want to hear what you have to say. So I will now be quiet and you may please contribute. Yeah, unmute yourselves now.
All right. That's good. Sharon, I liked what you said about our not being an organization so much as an organism. And I don't remember when I first heard that. I know it was in the context of something to do with the net of light or the grandmother's work, but it feels so meaningful. Because you already talked about the hierarchical structure, the mentalisms of organization, and to contrast how I feel inside about this organism that we are. It's such a foil and a beautiful contrast of warmth and cooperation and working together, learning from each other. So I was in the medical world for many years. And so I always think in terms of the body and the organ systems. And it became pretty clear that if one organ system was really a problem in the body, very diseased and not functioning well, ultimately without treatment, it would affect the rest of the body. But within our coming together as an organism connected through the net of light, we get to help each other. We recognize the roadblocks that one or some of us might be encountering and offer help to get out of that problem, that stuckness. It's such a feeling of warmth and homecoming. And I'm so delighted that we don't have an organization. It's a beautiful thing to be together as a family and not an organization.
I also like that idea. Sharon, as you were searching for the word that came to me instead of organism was network, which is what the net of light is, really. And I have started reading the fourth book, and one of the things that really resonated with me was also similar to something that you said, was that that we're all part of the divine. And that's something that I'm continually reminded of in doing this work together, and how connected we are. And last week, I was going to be gathering with several of the people in our organism. And there are a number of family members in crisis. There's a woman who's dying, who's and the extended family, and another adult child in crisis, and my son going into surgery. And I wasn't able to go to the meeting, but I felt, I felt those prayers. I felt held within, that network. And I too have spent a lot of years and years and years striving, doing different practices. The word disciple is similar to the word discipline. So, having these spiritual disciplines. But since encountering the grandmothers in this work, I'm not striving. I'm not, and that's another thing it says in the fourth book. I'm not trying so hard to make something happen, to make myself be better or more perfect or more spiritual, whatever that means. I just have a much deeper acceptance of myself, and I don't feel separate from the divine the way that I did. It's a continual presence, and it is easy to access. So.
Thanks. Thanks, Catherine. Kate, did you want to speak?
Yes, that spurs for me a section of the book. The book, I have been away from it because I've been away from everything in my life for about 3 weeks, but I can say that reading the fourth book has touched me on a level that isn't intellectual at all, and it goes beyond words, and it holds me in a mother's embrace. And I'll let that be. I wanted to read this one passage that kind of plays off what Catherine just said. It's the grandmother speaking, and they say, practice just sitting with us now. Think of looking into our eyes while you feel our arms around you. Do this and then rest in this receiving place for a while. We promise that each time you drop into this receptive mode, all the things you long for, all the things you want, both material and non-material, will be taken care of. It will happen that way because every time you relax like this and let go, you allow us to take over. It's as easy as that. It's those old habits of worry, all the trying, that gets in the way of you receiving your heart's desire. We're standing right here and we're ready to give it to you. So start practicing receiving. Start letting go of all that trying. Do it for just a few minutes a day. So it seemed resonant in that moment, and something all of us good girls and boys can benefit from listening to.
I listened to you as you did that, and I felt that response. I felt it right there. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, grandmothers, and thank you, mother.
A lot has been said already, but what I feel, and that is the word, feel, is in reading the fourth book, it has become easier. It has become an experience. You read the book, but it's so accessible. It's like you're not reading with your head, but it's coming in. You're holding the book and you're reading, but it's just coming through. The divine is working through the book that you're holding. And the divine is you, of course, but I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's just how it feels. And as Kate read, you feel it. And it's a lot quicker than it used to be. That's the difference in reading or starting to read the fourth book or whatever I read. It just comes in. And a while ago, when I just started reading it, I opened it and I was at the park and I was reading a paragraph on the net of light and describing it, I guess. And to my surprise, I saw threads, filaments of the net of light, golden filaments on the pages. And I thought, am I imagining this or what? Because I don't usually see those things, but I did. And it's that visceral experience that you get from, I guess, surrendering and connecting with the mother and with the grandmothers through the book.
Wow, Nadia. Wow. Thank you. Wow.
Sharon, you had invited us to read something from the fourth book that might have deeply affected us. And I've got so many passages marked, but since we're talking about connection via the net of light and this operating as one, as an organism, I thought this would be helpful, and particularly given what's the things that are being tossed about in our world these days and have been for such a long time. It's towards the very end of the book. And if you were wanting to read, it starts at the bottom of page 186. Sharon had gone to the grandmothers and was having some very intense learnings from them. So there, spread out far into the distance, was our entire planet, looking like a map drawn out flat. As I ran my eyes over its contours, over all the continents on our beloved Earth, I saw that the awareness of the mother's presence on Earth was beginning to awaken. I could see movement in Europe as well as in Asia. Then I watched as she awakened in Vietnam and Cambodia, in Italy, in China, and in Siberia. I watched as she embraced the people of the First Nations, all the tribal peoples and indigenous beings on Earth. Then I saw groups of suffering women responding to her loving presence. All over the globe now, women were feeling a change, feeling the return of the mother. There were women who had been locked in prisons, veiled women in the Middle East, indigenous women in the Western Hemisphere, impoverished women, and even the so-called trophy wives of the rich. All of them were responding to the mother. Whoa, I said as I observed. The presence of the mother was now infusing the entire energy field of the planet. The connection to the mother is coming alive everywhere, I said, and wow, as I felt the awakening taking place inside me too. A new vibration was moving deeper into the cell beds of my body, anchoring itself fully inside me. I think that's what so many of us are experiencing now. It's a deeper knowing, a broader awareness, and an anchoring of the knowledge of the divinity within us. We've always been that, but we're only now awakening to that in large numbers, I think, and able to help one another and encourage one another with this continued work.
What page was that on, Peggy?
At the very bottom, starting on the very bottom of page 186.
Thank you.
Jane.
Well, I actually asked the grandmothers what I could possibly share this particular time. I am struck with the simplicity of the grandmothers, with the simplicity of the circle of the stones, with the simplicity of inviting one to go and sit with the grandmothers. And what does that actually really mean? And to me, it has been an awakening, a communion with the mothers and with everybody else in the circle. It's the circle itself is such a good metaphor, and in a permission and invitation to sit with your divine. And for us, the grandmothers are divine, okay? And when you sit in the presence of the divine, and you gain an understanding of your own divinity, it is such a sacred, it's such a sacred thing that happens. And for me, it's very freeing, because once you realize how sacred you are, and once one realizes that the simplicity of sitting in a circle with the grandmothers supports that sacredness of the individual within the community, within the net, then there aren't any judgments about the other. All judgments are gone in the appreciation of the sacred. And I keep thinking, this is what's happening. Women are not judging themselves anymore because they have a very simple way of connecting with their divine. Go and sit in the circle. Go read a book. Sit and listen. I got you. Okay. And that is enormously freeing because there isn't any fear. There's no should be's. There's no particular hierarchy about what one should and shouldn't do. There's a knowing that has been deep within us, and we have not had the language before. But when you have the knowing that you walk with the divine, then you can appreciate everybody else's walk as they go through this process of trying to figure out who they are. And I think that women are finally, with the grandmothers, giving themselves permission to walk.
Yes.
And to walk without judgment, and to walk without fear, and to walk in the simplicity of being in communion, because it's so sacred.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Thank you. We are holy. We are HOLY. We are WHOLY. We are holy. And it's not hard to discover. The grandmothers really take all the trappings away so you get to the heart of the matter and you shoot right in to the truth, which holds you and rocks you, and you can live there always, always, always. And you don't live there all by yourself in some little cave in the Himalayas. You live with a community of loving beings who are doing the same thing. We love one another and we are loved. And so this communion we experience is with the divine, which flows through us and into us, and with one another with whom we share this communion. And it's constantly burgeoning, blooming, growing, becoming bigger and bigger. It's the greatest gift. Many of us have talked about this with each other, this gift that you've all touched upon today. And we're just gobsmacked by it, but it's true. And so we really invite you to share this with anybody who wants it. And again, if you have questions, if you have ideas, if you're inspired, if you have something you want to share it with us. We are a family and we welcome you. And we always welcome questions because every question helps us learn more, takes us deeper. So, dear panel here, anybody else sitting on something that, yes, Kate, go.
Okay. All right. I'm not muted. I want to say a simple thing. I come from an experience over the last 3 weeks, as I said, of being a little bit away from my usual routines and meditations and et cetera. Um, and I found that two real revelations happened for me that I think are something that call to be said right now. One is that when you are alone and you're isolated and you're not able to be as in communion with your net of light family, you still can make a connection with one or another, one person, and in that connection, you can be very sort of dark and quiet within yourself, but in the connection is the net of light, is the love, is the light, is the healing, and it becomes, I'm thinking almost electrically, but it's like you are two little nodes. I don't have the right terminology, but the electricity, the net of light goes between you and vibrates and can lift into this greater place for both of you. And there's just as much joy and elevation in helping another person on the net of light as yourself. It comes right back into you. And the other thing that I think we're talking about the organism of the Net of Light family, but quite honestly, out in the real world out there, when you walk around with this awareness of what's within you and you encounter people and you look into a pair of eyes and you start, I'm getting goosebumps, you start feeling this frisson of having an effect, having an impact, and in ways that you can't even know or understand, but somehow you are walking on earth blessing people. And that is just pure joy. It really, it's really delightful. And I hope I express that as well as I feel it.
You did. You did. Yes. That the grandmothers told us early on, do this work. You will be a walking blessing upon the earth. And I thought, yeah, sure. Wonder what that means. It's true. It's true. And the joy is palpable. It's just wonderful. Thank you, Kate.
May I quote what you said the other day, Kate, is that it's in the connections between us where the energy of love and light flows. And that's what you just described. So thank you. With each person.
How are we doing? Does anybody have something else that's rising up in them that wants to be expressed? Then let's go in together, all of us, and just move into your heart. Just move into your heart, which is where you really center in and live from. And here is that radiant jewel of your own heart that automatically lights the net of light, that lights the earth itself. And that jewel of your heart, which is fed by the net of light, that pumps light into all your organ systems, into your memory banks, into your feelings, into the bones of your body, into the blood supply system, that in turn infuses all the pathways in the net of light, infusing the grid of light on earth. Right now, we're holding together and we're lighting Africa, and we're lighting New Zealand, and all the fishes deep under the waves are blessed and lit. And all the clouds that carry precipitation all over our beloved planet are blessed. And all the stars in the sky are blessed. And every crumbling place of earth is blessed. And every bit of sand and every bit of granite, sandstone, clay is blessed. And every leaf on every tree that's waving in the breeze or standing in the still air is blessed. And all the elements that make up life on earth are blessed. And all the beings who live on earth and all the beings who ever lived on earth or ever shall live on earth are blessed. The fabric of being of the universe is blessed. Everything is blessed and everything is blessed. And as we breathe, our hearts resonate with this blessing and soar in love and radiant light. And we ask, may all the beings in all the worlds be happy. May everyone everywhere be glad. May all the beings in all the worlds, all the boys and all the girls, may everyone in all the worlds be happy. And Nadia, would you sing Mother Earth?
Yes, ma'am. I hope I remember the words. If not, you jump in. Mother Earth, I've loved you all of my life. Mother Earth, you love me too. Hold me as I hold on to you. Please awaken me as I awaken you.
Amen. Sing that one more time, Nadia.
Mother Earth, I've loved you all of my life. Mother Earth, you love me too. Hold me as I hold on to you. Please awaken me as I awaken you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we ask that the blessings that we're feeling and sharing go far out into the cosmos so that everywhere there's happiness and goodness, blessing, and that every being receives whatever they most need to be happy now. May this continue infinitely, and our work continue infinitely as we continue to love on and live on. And we'll meet you again here at this time, the first Sunday in October. May you be blessed. May I be blessed. May all beings be blessed.